Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to our first PowerPoint recorded presentation. Today we'll be going over our first set of reading teacher vocabulary. So the vocabulary we're going to go over today include the terms phoneme and grapheme, decode and encode, onset and rime, phonics and phonemic awareness, and finally phonological awareness. And you'll see that most of these are paired up, so they really do go together. First of all, let me point out that your textbook Sound It Out has a fantastic glossary. Feel free to use it and refer to it regularly until you're able to really internalize what these terms mean. You're going to see and hear these terms that I'm going to go over in this presentation used repeatedly. They really do need to become a part of your teacher vocabulary. So the first term that we're going to talk about is phoneme. A phoneme is an individual spoken sound, such as b or d as in dog, or the short a sound, a as in pat. Some of these phonemes are represented by multiple graphemes, such as th in think, which is represented by th. And when you write a phoneme, it's represented as the sound letter, the letter that makes the sound between two slashes. So for example, the b sound as in bat is represented by a B between the two slashes. A grapheme is the symbol that represents the sound. So, for example, the letter B represents the sound B. So you can see that it is just represented simply as the letter itself, the letter B. If I were to take that letter B and put it in between the slashes, then I would be referring to the phoneme or the sound. So the phoneme is the sound that you hear. The grapheme is the visual representation of that sound. The next set of words we're going to look at are decode and encode. When you decode a text, you attach the correct sound or phoneme to the symbol or grapheme. So this is a process that we go through when we are reading a text. We see the letters B, A, T, and we put the sounds B, A, T together with that. So that is decoding what sounds or phonemes those graphemes are represented. On the other side of that, we have encoding. Encoding is when we attach the correct symbol or grapheme to the sound or phoneme. And so this is when we are writing and spelling. So, for example, a student may be trying to spell an unfamiliar word, but they can sound it out. So imagine a very young child trying to spell the word cat. And so the child's like k, and the child may say, okay, that's a C. Or they could say that's a K, since it makes the same sound. And then a, okay, A is an apple, and t, and then they'll put the T. So that child has just encoded the sounds into the letters. So decoding is more the reading side of it, encoding is more of the writing side. Onset and rime. When we're talking about single syllable words, we can still divide those single syllable words up into parts. The onset is the part of a single syllable word before the vowel. So for example, in the word bat, the letter B is the onset. The rime, R-I-M-E, is the vowel and any following consonants within that single syllable word. So in the word bat, the letters A-T are the rime, at. So I've put some more examples here. So for example, in the word pet, the onset is the letter P and the rime is the E-T. In sleep, the letters S and L, those are the letters that are before the vowel, that's the onset, and then EEP is the rime, and then bore, again, B is the onset, and the ORE is the rime. So again, remember, we're only talking about single syllable words when we talk about onset and rime, and this is something that we will come back to later on when we talk about word families. So defining phonics, Savage in our textbook gives a nice three-part definition. Phonics is a conscious, concentrated study of sound-symbol relationships for the purpose of learning to read and to spell. So I like the breakdown that is given in our textbook of this three-part definition. There are people, in regards to part one, a conscious, concentrated study, whose entire line of research is dedicated just to the study of phonics. So phonics is a field of research and study that can stand on its own, but also supports other areas of literacy. The core of phonics is that relationship between the graphemes and the phonemes, or the symbols and the sounds that they represent. And then learning phonics is a big step for students toward becoming a literate human. It's not the only step, so phonics is not a standalone way to learn reading, but it is an important part of early literacy development. So phonics and phonemic awareness, when we look at these two, they are very distinctly different but related. So phonemic awareness is simply the ability to identify sounds within words, to separate them, to blend them, and to play with those sounds. So in the classroom, activities that teachers might use to highlight phonemic awareness are things like asking students to tell them what is the first sound in tie. And of course the answer would be t. Or what sound can we add to an to make a word for something that can keep us cool in the summer? And of course the sound would be f to make fan. And how many sounds do you hear in the word pony? And so students would be able to sound out p, o, n, e, and say 4 sounds in that word. Phonics is when then you start attaching those graphemes to the phonemes. So when you start attaching the symbols to those sounds, then you're getting into phonics. So looking at the same ideas from phonemic awareness, how do we change these to make them activities for phonics? We add in those letters. So what letter do we use to make the first sound in tie? And of course the answer would be T. Or what letter can we add to an to make a word for something that can keep us cool in the summer? Of course F. Or listen to this word, pony. What letters would we use to write that word? So comparing these two columns of activities, you can see that really the big difference between phonemic awareness and phonics is that phonemic awareness is just listening to sounds and playing with them, not worrying about the letters. Once you start worrying about letter symbols, then you have phonics. So let's look at a few examples. So in these two examples, take a moment, read them, and determine which one is phonemic awareness and which one is phonics. All right, if you're not quite finished reading, pause the video for just a moment so you can finish. I'm going to go ahead and start speaking. So the situation on the left, Mr. Thomas holds up a picture of a dog and asks his students to identify the initial sound in the word represented by the picture. So here you'll notice there's no mention of letters or, spelling, reading, none of that. It's just identifying a sound in a word. So this is phonemic awareness. The situation on the right, Mr. Thomas holds up a picture of a dog and asks students to identify what letter makes the initial sound in the word represented by the picture. So there we have the big tip-off that he's asking them to identify a letter or a grapheme, And so in that case, we have phonics. And we will play with these some more in class. Oops, sorry. So phonological awareness, this is a broader term than phonemic awareness. It focuses on all units of sound and includes phonemic awareness. So phonemic awareness is a part of phonological awareness, kind of like, you know, if you think about breeds of dog, but they're all dog. So phonemic awareness is just one little part of phonological awareness. So when you're thinking about phonological awareness, you're looking not just at letters, but at syllables and at rhyming. So, you know, hat, cat, pat, sat. You're looking at beginning, ending, and middle sounds, segmentation, blending, and substitution. So the last four, looking at beginning, ending, middle sounds, segmentation, which means taking apart, blending, putting together, and substitution, taking out one sound and replacing it with another. Those last four are your phonemic awareness. The first two, the syllables and rhyming, are the parts, I apologize for that, are the parts of phonemic awareness or phonological awareness that are not within phonemic awareness. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is just an overview of some of these new terms. I'm covering them in these videos so that then when we come into class, you can ask questions that you have about these terms, and we can then play with these terms and do some more active activities with them. So wrapping up, make sure you come to class with any questions you have regarding the contents of this presentation. And remember that you can rewatch this presentation as many times as you want or need. So remember these videos when you are reviewing for exams, for example. And come to class prepared to practice using the information in this presentation as well. So thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. See you in class.